go straight into the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Finance Committee meeting?
Not
Yeah.
until I've poured more tea out.
Pour your tea, yes.
Do it.
1 minute breather.
Oh, RFO, sorry, Karen, could you please record the absence of Councillor Wiles? Just, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So this is the meeting of Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Finance Committee. Item 1, apologies for absences received.
Apologies have been received from Councillor Green, who is away.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to item 2, declarations of interest. Does anybody have any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from yourselves in terms of the business that we're going to transact on the agenda this evening? No? Thank you. Moving on to the minutes of the last meeting, that's to receive and approve the minutes and actions of the Finance Committee meeting held on the 19th of February 2025, and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. Any comments? If not, would somebody like to propose those minutes?
I'm quite happy to propose the minutes.
Seconded by Councillor Pennington. And a vote. That's unanimous. Thank you. And I just mentioned that on the action log we don't have any outstanding actions currently. Okay. Item 4, public participation. Opportunity for any members of the public to make representations at this meeting in respect to the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Do we have any requests to speak?
No requests.
Thank you very much. Okay, if we can move on to item 5, and that's the payment schedules and the finances. So I'm going to follow my usual behaviour in terms of separating these out into different groups. So first of all, we have payment schedules and finances. First 4 payment schedules are for approval. These are attachments 2A, 2B, 2C and 2D. And that's approving the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund payment schedule for the end of February 2025. The payment schedules for the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall for the end of February 2025 and mid-March 2025. Approving the Museum and Archives payment schedule for the end of February 2025, and finally to approve the Museum and Archives payments that miss the schedule for February 2025.
Thank you. I'd just like to find out, unless anybody at this committee knows, was when the agreement was made for the transfer of the Imhoff funds back into the museum account. I don't know if the RFO knows about this, but I from the past, obviously I was the only councillor in this room that was around when the Imhoff was sold off, and the fund. I believe that the funds were always being ring fenced for purchases in relation to items that are only to do with Sandwich. But I've seen here that it says that the entire funds from this is this a transfer of money? So are the funds still ring fenced?
The funds are ring fenced in a Scottish Widows account.
Oh, thank you.
There is around 15,000 left
I see.
in the account. These transactions that have taken place over the last 5 years, so it's sort of overdue. Purchases of artefacts and other expenditure that the museum manager has picked out that is solely to do with collections care.
Oh, super. Oh,
So,
that's super.
those are that amount of 2,725.
2,000.
That covers about 3 or 4 different payments over the
I
last
see.
5 years.
Right, that's fine. Thank you very much for that explanation. Well, that's
I'm
I'm happy
content
with
with
that.
that.
I'm content with that. Thank
Any
you.
other comments before we move to vote on those? No? somebody like to propose that we approve these?
I'm happy to propose approval of these
Councillor Carter,
items.
somebody to second them? Councillor Black? And the votes? It's unanimous. Okay. The next report we're asked to receive and approve is the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund cash book as of the 28th of February 2025. This is attachment 2E. Are there any comments or questions before we vote? No? Okay. I'll be happy to propose those. Councillor Black seconding. And unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Next set are the free bank reconciliation reports. These are attachments 2F to H. We're asked to receive and approve the bank reconciliation for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund as of the 28th of February 2025. The same for the bank reconciliation for the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall as of the 28th of February. And finally, the bank reconciliation for the Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Museum as of the 28th of February 2025.
Happy to propose those.
So we have 2 seconds. Councillor Pennington, votes on those. Thank you. And then the final set are the free budget variance reports, attachments 2I to 2K. We're asked to receive and approve the budget variance reports for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund for the 28th of February 2025. The budget variance reports for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Guildhall at the end of February. And finally, the budget variance reports for Sandwich Tollbridge Fund Museum at the end of February 2025. Any comments or questions? No? Somebody happy to propose those? Anybody?
I'm happy to do that.
Councillor Carter P. Somebody second. Councillor Pennington M. Comments on those?
Yes, I propose that.
Thank you very much.
You're so true.
For those eagle-eyed members, you may notice that the Coulter Cheviot report is not included in this meeting. It will be presented to next Monday's full meeting of the trustee.
Okay.
We've got it on the screen.
I haven't. Have you?
I have.
There you go.
Have you?
I'm looking at it.
Well, it wasn't on the agendas. Just bear with me. I haven't got it. No.
No, well,
Have
maybe
you got the Coulter Cheviot report for February?
No.
Yeah,
They've got
1st of February to the 28th of February.
Yeah, is that attachment 3A comes straight after the financial budget comparison.
Well, that's interesting because it's not on the agenda either.
No,
It's not. Well, I haven't downloaded it, so I haven't got
It
three.
was
No,
in
I
the
didn't have it right
attachment.
either. No, I've been given a printed set and it's not included.
so have I, it's not in my.
It's that for this meeting, not next Monday's meeting.
No,
This is next Monday's meeting.
Oh,
Yes.
no, it's next Monday.
This Monday's meeting.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I got very worried.
Sorry. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong
If
agenda.
I replay my comments and then nobody responds, we'll be fine. So
No, but-
the Coulter Cheviot reports for February will be presented to the full meeting of the trustee next Monday. Thank you.
Super.
I'm looking at the wrong agenda.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we can move on to agenda item 6, and we have a reporter attachment 3 to request a placing of 2 banners on the Guildhall balcony to advertise a Sandwich Spring Market event that will be run by Zoom Events over the weekend of the 21st to the 23rd of March. The banners will be displayed from the 21st of March and removed by Monday the 24th of March.
Happy to propose that these banners are allowed on the balconies.
What is the event?
It's
Speaking.
yeah, sorry, I was Councillor Pennington first and Councillor.
Has someone seen
The banner.
the artwork for the banner? Yeah.
Have we seen the artwork?
I haven't seen the
It's a good
artwork.
point.
No.
I don't know who else has.
Yeah, so I have certainly seen a number of banners that are advertising this event that are located around the town,
Yes.
and they are innocuous, should we say?
Yes.
But I think it's a fair point that we can, I would suggest we can approve it to be done, subject to just being checked that it's all acceptable in terms of content. Is that the point you would like to make, Councillor Pennington?
Yes, I mean, I don't know how far this sets a precedent, but I do think that we should be careful about what's hung up on
I
the
agree.
Guildhall premises. I agree with you, the posters that I've seen advertising the event are very simple,
Yeah.
basic, and would cause no offence, but I was just being doubly cautious.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point, and I'd like to feedback, if it can be mentioned to the Assistant Town Clerk and Town Clerk on the return, is that for future requests for banners, what would be ideal is that actually we do have a graphic of the banner that's going to be displayed.
Yeah. Could I just point out there are criteria set down that the town clerk's got to say about banners that we will not display.
Yeah.
So like political, religious, or those that are inciting racism or anything like that. So there are some criteria, I know that the town clerk says, that are set down that we're not allowed to accept that are there. So if it had anything on it that
Yeah.
would be, I mean obviously the town clerk's seen it, but she's not obviously told us about that, because usually what happens when the application comes in to use the forecourt, they usually send forward any publicity material with the application.
So I'm happy to
I'm happy to
second proposal.
propose that.
But if for future ones, if we could have the graphic if it's available. Take a vote. No, thank you. Agenda item 7, we have a report to request approval of specialist partial exemption VAT calculations to be prepared by VAT experts. This is a report from the responsible finance officer and is included at attachment 4. I just wonder whether the RFO wants to talk this through at all. Is it a question?
No, Councillor Mrs. Carter wants, no, you've got the knowledge on this one, can speak, but perhaps after the RFO has spoken.
Well, this is something that I've been aware about for a while.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm reclaiming back from HMRC on behalf of the Town Council and on behalf of the Tollbridge Fund, and we're allowed to do that. But there are activities that are taking place in the building that come under the bracket of exempt VAT activities, and that is room hire. There may be one or two other things as well, but room hire is the big one. HMRC are very generous and they allow you to do look at 7-year figures, so you don't have to necessarily, if you're over a bracket, over their bracket, you can go back and look at 7 years worth of VAT reclaim, and if you've reclaimed more than their figure of 7,500, then you have to pay some back. So we don't know whether we're going to be, we're hoping we're not, but there is a possibility that we might be a little bit over. But they also give you an opportunity to calculate it in lots of different ways. So it's not just one calculation, it's, you know, you can calculate the VAT due in lots of different ways, according to space, according to time. You know, that I don't know enough about it to go any further with this.
That's why I've got the
This is why the recommendation from the auditor was that we get somebody, especially the first time, to look at this. But I have obviously used PS tax before, and we've had a look at our VAT before, and nobody has brought to light any glaring errors. So I'm not expecting anything terrible to happen. It's just that we need to do this exercise.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say what I started to do a little bit work with Carol started on that. and from what I've done so far, and also when I've been checking the HMRC website, I don't think we've got much to claim back at all, because we haven't charged any VAT on the room hire so far anyway. So it's for my recommendation, I think is not worth doing at all. I wouldn't even employ anybody external, because we were just thinking, you spend £2,000 on that, you're not going to get any money. I mean, it's not likely you could claim any money, but it's an exercise wasting time personally for me. I've looked so far, I looked 2-3 years, so I think it's about 5 years worth. And very quickly I had a look through. I think it's you don't have time to do it, and I don't think you can go back to auditor and say you tried to have a look at it. It's just not worth our time to claim back, because you might claim back. You think you might claim back to £7,000, but we actually haven't really charged any VAT, or we haven't. So no, I'm not the category. We don't really have any chances anyway.
You have a response?
Personally,
Well,
I think
in
it's
my conversations that I've had, I'm concerned that we've been reclaiming
Well, we should.
back more than this level of VAT on exempt practices. And I just like clarification that it would make me feel better that the exercise has been done.
But if the HMRC thinking they overpaid us back, they were still chasing money back, so I wouldn't bother. Let government do the work, was us.
I was just going to say the same.
Councillor Pennington?
Yes, thank you. Yes, it just wasn't clear to me from the proposal whether the 2,250, would the benefits of that be spread over a number of years? Because if there's a ceiling of 7,500, it seems quite a lot to spend on doing the investigative work. So I'll just, is it spread over a number of years, or is it every year?
Can you answer that?
I think that it's a 7,500 limit on exempt activity reclaim per year. And so, you know, I think we may have gone over that. That's why I am suggesting that we do the exercise.
Councillor Black? Sorry, Councillor.
Well, sorry. My question is the 2,250. Is that a one-off payment
Yeah.
for which we will reap the benefit over a number of years?
The benefit to me will
The
be
insurance.
not having HMRC come to us in 20 years and say, you owe us, £10,000 worth of
Okay, thank you.
wrongly reclaimed VAT.
Councillor Black?
Can I just get clarification? So that this, if we approve it, this person will go back at least 7 years and do any checks on it. Will they also, should they find something, come with clear recommendations about, we need to do this differently? If that's part of it, then that's fine as well. And also, presumably, if they find that we have not claimed enough, that we can claim some of it back.
I
fully understand that, because it's going to be quite embarrassing to end up with a claim from HMRC that we have claimed too much. I can understand that bit. But if it goes back, and this is something like a one-off exercise that we don't need to do for another 4 or 5, 6, 7 years, because we now know we've got robust, up-to-date systems in place, I would be very supportive of it.
Yeah.
I do take, Councillor Carter's viewpoint that if, at first glance, it looks as if we don't have a problem, and I fully understand the reason for not spending that. But if this gives us some security over the next 5 years, for example, that may be money well spent.
What I would say is that I tried to do this partial exemption last year, and then I was told that that was incorrect.
By HMRC?
By auditors.
By the auditors.
That I should reclaim everything in the first instance.
Right.
And then do this partial exemption later on.
So it would help your procedures over the next few years, once we get a full report.
And understanding.
Yes.
Thank you. That's helpful. Well, yes.
Councillor Carter?
Oh yeah, sorry. So can I ask the RFO, having myself worked for HMRC, have you actually approached HMRC get the free advice from them that they're prepared to give on this matter?
No, I didn't realise that I could get
You
advice.
you can actually ask for a free consultancy, and they will advise you on this. So could I ask that we go down that route before we go down this route, if possible?
Yes, so in terms of any time expectations around this, Karen, can this be
This
pushed
e-
back to the next meeting?
This exercise should have been done by now for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
previous 7 years.
So
So
4
I
weeks isn't going
can't
to-
see that 4 weeks is going to make much difference.
So I think what you're getting is you're getting support here in terms of the need for you to have that assurance for you particularly, but also for the town council staff. But I think there's a couple of steps, interim steps worth pursuing, particularly the one that Councillor Carter Pierce mentioned, to pick up with the HMRC.
Yes.
And then we can bring that next time. But I was just going to clarify, would this decision to pay in any case have to go to full STBF? Because it's here, isn't it? Yes. Would it have to go to full STBF for a financial decision ultimately?
I think we do because
Yeah.
you don't have any financial
No,
powers
that-
for this
that-
committee.
That was exactly what I said. That's why I asked the question.
Well done. Well done. Oh,
I
Councillor.
just got a suggestion, suggest that if you lodge your request and come before the March 1st, and they've accounted for this financial year,
Yes.
it might take them 3-4 weeks to come back to you. If you lodge your inquiry with them, they will come back to you.
Yes, so it covers you back 7
Yeah.
years
Well,
from
yeah,
now,
yeah,
rather than
exactly.
losing a year.
Another
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm proposing taking the defer it and take the intermediate steps and then bring this back after we check
So-
those.
For clarification then, we defer, but you approach HMRC to see if they are able to do
That's
anything for you.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure which timescale we're going to ask them to look at, but
Well, you can ask them to look at the whole 7
Whole
years.
7 years, they
Whole
can
7
answer.
years.
They will say to you, look into more, then you know you have to.
Yeah.
They're very quick.
okay.
And Councillor Mrs Carter has done some research.
Yeah,
on this.
I've recognised also.
I haven't thought about it actually. I didn't think about you can contact directly. Actually, I've been researching myself. Look on town council, but
This isn't HMRC, we know a lot, is it?
yeah, if you get a reference of a Sandwich Town Council reference, they will look into straight away and they
Yeah,
know.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay, so I
Might
think
say
we're
it's
way
2002.
forward, so we're not voting on this today, we are
No.
deferring it to the next
I
meeting.
propose to defer. Anybody
I have to second that.
second that? And all those in favour of defer?
It's unanimous. The next item is item 8, report to request approval for other officers to have.
This is identical to the
This is
wording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same as
So is the solution exactly as we did for the STC finance in general?
Yes, very nice.
Including,
I'm-
nothing changes except to,
Yeah.
and that's it. And it's simple,
Yes.
to the point.
Just-
I'll propose that.
Yeah.
I'll propose it.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
All those in
I
favour?
know, deja vu moment, where we were.
We've done this
already.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the final full item tonight. So agenda item 9 is date time next meeting, Wednesday 16th of April 2025, following the STC F&G committee meeting in the council chamber at the Guildhall. Thank you very much.